Dr. Hila Oren has been the CEO of the Tel Aviv Foundation since 2016. Previously, Oren founded and served as CEO of Tel Aviv Global, where she played a central role in defining Tel Aviv as a smart city on the world stage, attracting talent and investment from all over. And now, she turns her attention to another key challenge. Please welcome Hila to World City as we explore how our public spaces can combat loneliness.
Hello, my friends. Public places as our pockets of well-being. Shalom and hello, New York, my favorite city. I am Dr. Hila Oren. I refer to myself as a city maker, not a shoemaker, not a filmmaker, a little bit of a matchmaker. This is what it is to be a city maker. That's the way I refer to it, and this is how I see things. My passion is cracking the innovation code about cities, about places, about anything with, as you see, people all over. But before we get into my passion and to your passion, just let's remind ourselves where we are day by day in our VUCA world, our volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Remember, just like March 2020, our cities were lonely, vacant. We didn't even know. People would call me, what do you think will happen in our cities? Will they continue to thrive? Now we've got the answer, but just 3 years ago, we did not know what will happen. And I think when Dr. Murthy, the USA Surgeon General, refers to the social disconnection as comparable to smoking daily, we understand why. I think loneliness, and these are the data, this is how people refer to as increasing risk of anxiety and depression in every home here, in every place, in every family. Loneliness has paid its price. And it is, in a way, so easy to find a different way. I think when I saw this public place effect on our well-being, this diagram, it is just so easy to understand that when we go into our bedrooms, our houses, and then we start going out to the neighborhood, to our city, to our town, to outside of there, then our loneliness reduces. It is so easy, but we have to work in it. We have to make sure that mobility, spending time outside, walking, we all know about it. You know, we know these things, just like on our diet. We know we don't need to eat so much, but we still do, right? We love our carbs. We know we need to be mobile, we need to walk, we need to participate, but we don't do it. The accessibility, all these things, we have to make sure that we're doing them, but how are we doing them? We have to find some vehicles. The Tel Aviv Foundation is a city foundation promoting 3 major values: pluralism, equality, and opportunity. How does these things do together? It is chaired by the city mayor. Our mayor gives us our support. Public philanthropy partnership, which is matching dollar to dollar each program. How does this go into solving problems and creating impact? By the most important slide for me: cutting red tapes, rolling out red carpets. What does that mean? If we want to collaborate with our stakeholders, if we want to make a difference, if we want to put different stakeholders together, we have to remember to put our ego aside, to ask ourselves, how are we cutting those red tapes off? How are we inviting our collaborators together to that public space to reduce cars, etc.? And how do we roll those red carpets? It's a metaphor, but if you think about it, this is what we need, and then our partners will come and join in. We can't do this public space changes without this. So, public places, the way I like to think about them, they are little pockets of well-being. Think of your little pocket where you live. Maybe the little creek next to your house, the little garden, the place where you meet your friends, where your parents are, where your kids are. These little places have to be pockets of well-being. But how do you do that? What are urban public places and what makes them so innovative? How do you reduce the loneliness there? It's not just enough for those public places to be beautiful, but we have to make sure that our streets are where we meet, where we learn. It's not only in schools, it's not only in campuses, where we care for our well-being, and this is how we connect. But how do we connect? It's not just putting chairs out there. The way we put those chairs, that they can move, that we can sit together with them and talk to each other. We have to make sure, and this is not easy, I can assure you, especially these times in Israel, the urban values, we make sure that pluralism, equality, inclusiveness, opportunity to all, and most of all, mutual responsibility, all these things will not happen if we won't make sure that all these values are all the time within our cities, within our countries. It's about leadership, but it's not only up to our mayors and our leaders. It's up to us. When I refer to myself as a city maker in the beginning, I thought, I'm just a director. What can I do to make a change? But once I understood that it's up to my responsibility to take off those red tapes and make sure that those open places will be open for the public, then when I refer to the city as an equalizer, just like the globe, when we make sure that every place that I can reduce cars and put people there and make them the opportunity that they can meet, then the loneliness reduces the cheapest way, the quickest way, and it's actually saving lives. So again, just remember these terms. There's some architects here I know, and some planners and developers. We like to use the term urban planning. I love to move into social planning. See the people. If you look at my presentation, you'll see that I think I don't even have one image without people in it. Usually when we see cities, when we see images, it's always about buildings and about infrastructure. Try to put the person in the middle, in the focus. We're moving. It's our responsibility to move from uses to users. Once we think about the users, about the different communities, once we think about women, mothers that are with their little kids, about elderly, about people with dogs, about sports, about architects, different communities, different needs, different uses, then you think about the public place as differently. We actually move our thoughts from referring to a place as space to a place and placemaking and making human design based on human terms. When we take off cars, look how many people can use just one place that was before taken by a car. Now we know it. I know whoever sits here in the audience says, oh, but I know it. But how many of us really make sure that we do it? That we make sure to take off those cars and use these people. We are very, very honored in Tel Aviv to be mentored by Jeanette Sadikan and her team from Bloomberg Associates, where they help us look at our public spaces through 3 values or 3 tools: data, design, and messaging. If you want to make a change in reclaiming our streets, you have to make sure that you have enough data to make that change, that the design will attract people, and that your messaging will be the right messaging that will encourage people to re-engage and not just go away. But when we reclaim our streets, we have to make sure that we use the gender lens, the gender and the social lens, because sometimes we forget that even bicycle, that we have bicycle on the streets are not adjusted to women or to young ladies. Sometimes the chairs, sometimes there's not enough light, we don't feel secure. The men around here don't even understand what I'm talking about. But believe me, sometimes when I go just in regular streets, when my 30-year-old daughter, when my 28-year-old daughter goes and she calls me, Mommy, be with me on the phone because I don't feel secure here, this is something we know, and we don't give it enough attention. So bear that in mind when we want to look at public spaces. But I want to add another term into this. Public spaces are not just out there. They're also indoors. What you see here is the hall in the municipality where we give services from 8 o'clock till 4 in the afternoon on regular basis. But then after 6, all the elderly are invited, and we use that lobby or that hallway just to have the elderly people dance every Tuesday. They are waiting for that 2 hours like you don't know what. You should see those 70, 80-year-old ladies with putting on their makeup just in their new dress just to come and meet. this is reducing loneliness and using the public space so easily, so cheap, so quickly with once we reimagine our buildings, whether it's a rooftop, sometimes it's just locked. Open it up. Give the opportunity to the public to use it on different uses. And you know what? Something else. I'm a civil servant. We always think our work plan is very important and our budget is important and we know everything. And when somebody knocks on our door and offers something differently, we say, oh no, we already have our work plan. Try to keep your mind open and say, maybe I didn't think about it, but we can use the rooftop for a yoga class. We can use the hallway for baking class, for meeting for something, for a chess, for anything that we didn't think can be a great opportunity actually to meet and then to reduce loneliness. An outdoor living room. We don't need to meet only at home. Our saloon can be out there. An office. Who could think about a co-working space just 10 years ago? I think WeWork was initiated in 2012. When I came first in 2011 with my mayor to Mayor Mike Bloomberg and asked him, how can we innovate Tel Aviv? He said, you don't know. You have to go back to Tel Aviv and understand your ecosystem. And he shared with us the open space, co-working space they had here in New York. That was just 11 years ago. So probably 10 years from now, we will share our public spaces differently if we will remember to keep open with our minds. So don't forget, when you go out there in the public space, make sure that there's enough shade, because in most of our countries it's hot out there. There's the water, restrooms, otherwise we'll have to neglect the place after an hour. And if we want to make sure that this place is being used, we have to make sure that all these things are taking into action. Greenery, power outlets, and Wi-Fi. Again, we need information, we need Wi-Fi, distress buttons so we feel secure, sustainable outdoor furniture, and again, I didn't put enough focus on that, but the furniture, the way we use it, the way we put it, and I think Bryant Park is a great example for the good outdoor furniture, an accessible and clear entry point so you can go in and out very easily, you feel welcome, just like at home. When you invite guests, you don't close the door, right? You keep it wide open. Keep those public places wide open, whether they're inside or outside. So public space, the way I refer to it, whether it's outside or inside, are a fundamental human right, and I insist on that. Just like clean air, just like free speech, same thing are our public places. Once we look at them that way, then we understand that this effort will actually reduce loneliness globally through those public places. Please join us, join me, join my team here that came all the way from Tel Aviv to reduce loneliness. This is the pandemic that is after pandemic. This is my mission. Thank you so much.